Hey girls, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny Penton, founder of Planner Perfect. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you, highly requested, how to take a to-do list and convert it into success. Stay tuned. Okay, you guys, in today's video, it's been really highly requested. In my fans group, I see some women with some questions surrounding the Planner Perfect method, the scripting method of how to really convert to-dos into a method that inspires you to succeed. It is hard to change a belief or a paradigm around to-do lists and actually begin this if this is your first time, but make no mistake, scripting your life, and that includes your to-do list, is a game changer when it comes to executing what you want and creating a life that you love and writing that better story, without a doubt, hands down. Now, before I turn you around and give you real life examples of what that would look like, to how to, we all know how to write a to-do list. How I actually do my to-do list, because everyone's got these things that they want to do. And then how I transfer just a regular list into something that is more scripted and where it ignites the brain, okay? And gets the mind going that this is something that she's sure about, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna get some key pointers out here looking at you, okay? Which I'm not, but I feel like I am, because I am. You're looking at me, so I feel like, okay, I gotta look at you to really get this and hit it home. When it comes to the Planner Perfect method, scripting is a form of really just long-handed writing, and just look like if you were going to be journaling or, really writing down dreams and goals and what you want to do. When you write longhand about something, it changes the way you feel. Your feelings really do get evoked. Now, I could sit in a journal and write down everything that has hurt me and bothered me my whole life, and I pretty much would probably be a train wreck by the time the show is over. It might be a release. It might be an integral part of the process of then going to the next step and how I see myself now. And so you change those feelings. But no matter what, when you're writing, you're using the imagination, which evokes feelings, and it will, when you use a more long-handed way of doing things, you're going to feel so good about your day, and you're going to know your why, and you're going to know where you're going and what you're doing, that you just feel really, really, really confident, and you feel really good. It evokes completion, it evokes and stirs up feelings of, I'm confident about my day. I know what I'm up to, and I know what I'm doing. So that really helps as well when it comes to when people need you, kids need you, things need you. In case of certain instances where, it's an emergency and you're going to go, you've got to go help, those things are not usually your whole plot in life. Okay. So unless it's those kind of circumstances, this will help you know when to say, I can't, but I can here, or to your children, not at this time, but here we're going to do that. You know what you're doing, rather than being reactive and just kind of going with the flow, and what you really in essence are doing is living everyone else's idea of what they want to do. And so you will get and soon find that you will feel like your life is absolutely spinning in circles, and you're absolutely going nowhere, because you're actually complying and succumbing and acquiescing to someone else's needs over your own. Okay, so the whole idea is that you know who you are, you know where you're going, and you know what you're doing. Now, so with the to-do list, I noticed that there were some things that we're going to talk about that when I turn you around, that women, they got lost in like, I needed to write out my whys. And that is really, really important. But I want to let you know that you actually don't write out, why am I doing this? When you're scripting and you're scripting out your day, and I'm going to show you, the why is inevitable. Okay. It's kind of like your why is within the script. You're going to get up early. And you know what I write at the top of mine sometimes now? Sometimes I'll be like, if I know that I've had a day that was super busy and I know that I need to refuel my tank, or I went to bed later, so I know the 5 a.m. or the 6 a.m. isn't going to work, I'll say, wake up when I'm rested. Okay, so I mean, I'm really thinking about myself, my needs, and what I want, and it's going to happen. Okay. I mean, I'm thinking everything really through. I'm thinking about my life. I'm thinking about why I'm going to get up. I mean, the act of writing and writing it in longhand makes you introspect, makes you think about exactly what you're writing down. So like if you write a to-do list, you're not forced to think of why you're doing it. And it's just these, do this, do this, do this, do this. I want to do this, this, this. The whole part that is needed is left out. And that is really your why. Why are you doing it? So if you go ahead and if I were to say, I'm going to get up early, and I go ahead and put it over here, but I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm going to get up early and have coffee and then, read, maybe get into my Bible, or, sit and be still for a while, maybe meditate for a little bit and be quiet and hear what God's got to say. Now, when you start writing out all that, you're like, well, wait, what time should I get up though? Because like have been repeatedly kind of going to bed late, so I don't think that's what I want for myself the next day. Now, so you've turned something around where you're proactive about something that you thought you were going to be a 5 a.m.er, but you are listening to your needs, you're knowing what you want, you know how you want to live, and so you're writing that down. It's more like you know what you want for yourself, you know what you're after, and maybe you're in a health journey, or maybe you need to learn how to slow down, or maybe you're learning to be still more, maybe you're responding to your body's need to rest. Maybe I don't know. Everyone has their own individual needs. All I know is that if you just go by bullet points, you're going to continually be at a point where, maybe you get a few done and you have this, this identity stuck to what you can get done in a day, which that's not a good idea, because are these taking you places? Are you living your full potential on that to-do list? I bet you that you're not. Honestly, I bet you that you're not, because you need to really write out some detail about how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, why you're doing it. Like your why actually is written within the script. We understand the why now. Now you could journal something and really want to get a good, like if you wanted to write a book and you really want to get some more clarity. So you go and you're asking God about it, and then you're still and you're kind of waiting, you kind of give it a little bit of time, and then you write out in your journal everything that maybe you've gotten downloaded, like, yeah, I really want to do this. And now that's one thing. But when it comes to executing it and then putting it over into your planner, you're going to want to really be like, okay, I already know I'm going to be writing a book. So I know, okay, so I'm the only time I feel like I can really fit that in would be here. And this is going to be great. I'm going to use these resources. I'm going to probably go, you know what, this would be fun. I think I'm going to go to Starbucks. So now here you start getting ideas. You're in the creative process when you script. You're not in the creative process when you write down to-dos. To-dos are like a complete brain dump. And when you do when you're writing out, your days and you're scripting and you're long-handed, you're more creative. You're in a creative space. And so now you are getting ideas even as you script. And then sometimes you're like, you know what? That's not going to work. I'm not going to do that. But you know what? I'm going to do this. I love this idea. I don't like that idea. And you just begin to plan out and map out a life that you want to live. And that's what this is huge. Okay. So many women plan out to-dos and don't know what kind of life that they want to live, when really you want to plan out the kind of life you want to have and then write what you should do. So that's where it gets super backwards, and why to-do lists alone don't work. I myself love to brain dump, and then I like to incorporate it, and I will space it out over a period of time, or I will let some go, maybe add a few. But I'm at a place in my life, quite honestly, that I don't brain dump all the time. Every page is like an opportunity for me where I can be like, okay, now, because it kind of goes off of my long-term goals. And again, we have so much different videos that I can be doing and showing more of, but I do have a huge playlist of things. So be sure to go through there and see what you love to know about. I have a lot that I've done over the years. But based off of know where I'm going, each day is something for me to really write about and write it out long-handed. Like, okay, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to go here first, and I'll come home, and I'll do this, and I will feed this child, and I'll go here, and then I'll do this with my husband, and then I'm going to start the bread, and then I'm going to make this kind of a dinner, and then we're going to clean up. I'm going to have the kids help me, and all of your whys are in there because your why, because you want to have a clean house, and you're going to need help. You know your why. You want to get up early because you want to start to get a handle on the day. It's going to be a big day, so today's going to be the 5 a.m. or so. The day before you got to get up, you got to go to bed really early. You know how you want to live. You know where you're going to go. You know what you want to do. You know the kind of goals that you have. You're pushing and you're going and you're contributing and you're doing. And so I really, really inspire women to use your talents. And, if anyone ever tries to say, that they don't have any, well, then that meant that God didn't give you any and you didn't need them. So either way, okay, you're a winner. But guaranteed, you've got some talents, and He expects you to use them. Okay? So if you don't, then you'll just lose them, and it's a waste. So you need to use your talents, because your talents are going to be things that come easy to you. And so, you need to craft them and get better at them, and to practice them, to polish them. Okay, so get to know some different things that you love to do and begin to use that to contribute to the world. Also, a gauge I want you to use in your life, at least quarterly, is knowing if you're doing something that's taking you out of your comfort zone, that's making you feel butterflies, that's making you feel nervous in a good way, that you are actually putting yourself out there. So I really want to, make sure that you understand that to live to your full potential. Live to your full potential. Honestly, in some women, they can be very happy with just doing lovely, peaceful things and reading and seeing the grandkids once in a while. But I want you to understand too that you can do more and you can reach more. There's more in you, okay? There's more in you. And I want you to know that. So no matter if you're a mom and if you're an empty nester or whatever, it's not too late, and it's not too late to dream, and it's okay to begin no matter what time frame it is. So now we're going to take our to-do list. I'm going to flip you around. I'm going to show you what it's like to actually take some things that you want to do and how that would look long-handed and scripted and complete. Okay, so it's like you've got a completed story, a written story about your life, about what you want to do. And it's not going to get, the reason why is a lot of women will be like, they'll say, how do I find my to-dos written within the script? Now, here's the secret, is that the more you write, and the more you are long-handed about what you want to do and when you're going to do it and how you're going to do it, did you know that you're igniting a part of the brain that's actually going to remember that intention? It's kind of like you're creating this light up in the brain, like, oh, she's intentional about this. This is what she wants to do. And it actually motivates you to carry it out. I rarely have to look at my planner, and they're huge. I'm meeting people, Zoom people, Starbucksing with people to find out, new projects, doing this. Believe me, it is so written out. It's always, I've already lived this situation. You know what I'm saying? Down to like, do I want to eat there afterwards at Starbucks? No, they don't really, no, not there. I think things through. I'm just like, so when I get home, the boys are going to want to eat. I mean, I'm getting down to like, how do I want to live? How do I want to live? And it just lights up my mind. I'll even know if I have no time to get laundry done. I'll be like, you know what, it ain't going to be no laundry day. So just get used to that fact that it ain't going to get done. And because you've got too big of a day, and that's okay. But see, my mind knows that, and so I'm not stressed at the fact that there's dirty laundry, because I already know of the next day that's going to be like hair in a bun, maybe some bread going in the oven, and a full laundry tackle day. And I don't add much more to that day except for just a couple little things, or playing Monopoly with the boys and going over some reading and stuff like that. So I keep it, I'm going through my days, I'm sifting it, and I know how I want to live. I know where I'm going, and I know what I'm doing. So to say, well, how am I going to sift through and find out what I got to do? Well, that's the beauty of it. You've already worked out practically. It's like you've worked out. It's like you already know it's like you've lived that day. And so you know what I mean? So it's like a memory. It's in here. It's locked in the vault. And you can go in there and say, okay, where am I doing it? Or if it helps you at first, if you want to put like boom, boom, boom on the side and then script it, maybe that's a good segue. But I'm just telling you the way the mind works, and I've been doing it all my life, ever since I've been married. And I started really scripting since I was 20. I'm 50 now. And hey, it's done nothing for success. 8 kids later, starting a business, believe me, it works. And so you don't have to go back and be like, oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to do. You won't forget. That's the thing. You won't forget. You forget to-do lists. See how your mind is always stuck on, I got to keep this sucker next to me, this scroll that's never ending and I never get done. But to keep a to-do list separate from you is not a smart idea, in the sense that you're keeping it as a separate entity. And so now it's abstract. It's really hard to explain and articulate how that is, but your mind isn't picking up on it because you're keeping it as a separate thing to do, while in the meantime, you're living life over here. You know what I mean? And then these become annoying. Like, oh, forget it, or, oh, I had a good day. Really? I mean, so to me, a good day, you know what you got to gauge your good day on, is if you loved well, you were at peace, you weren't stressed, and you just automatically flowed. You had a flow day. And that's what scripting does for you. It creates flow. And so your day flows. And so you're not stressed, and you're loving, and you're not worried. Now that's the right gauge. Don't be measuring yourself on how much, you attained off of a to-do list. If I feel like I've moved the needle, and I started those couple pages of my book, and I put a couple things on my blog, and I knew what I was doing, and I knew where I was going, and the flow was well, and I knew what I was doing that day, and it just flowed and was really well. We had an amazing dinner, and we cleaned it up together, and we did this and we did that. And I love to go at the end of the day and think, hey, where have I fallen from grace? I mean, where did I maybe work too hard and get stressed when I didn't need to? How can I change that? Because ultimately, you never want to live in a state of cortisol. Okay, so you want to be like, okay, where have I fallen? What can I do better? What can I do better? Okay, here I fell a little bit. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna change that up. I don't like how that went down. So that's your gauge. Were you in a state of flow? Were you in a state of like creativity? Were you joyful? Were you, that's your gauge. Did you get some beautiful stuff done towards your huge goals? Did you get your mini goals done? How was your routine today? Did your routines flow? Did you feel good after your routines? You know what I mean? And sometimes then at the end of the day, I love when I'm doing gratitude to be like, hey, this worked. This is where I fell from grace. And I'm going to try this where, this was just too much. It didn't flow well. Or why was I agitated here? What was going on within me that made me feel this way? Those are the kinds of things. And I want to go toward the feelings I was having. Because ultimately, you really want to make sure that you're not, at this gauge where you've got the lower emotions, then you've got the higher emotions. You don't want to stay down here too long. You want to make sure that you bounce yourself back up with some love, peace, and the fruits of the spirit. You want to kind of stay away from those those ones that drag you down. And you want to find out, like, why did I allow my circumstances to do this and to me? How did I fall from grace? How can I change that? Okay, so now that's a different video, but this is things where this is your gauge. This is your life. You want to hit a flow state. You want to flow. You don't want to sit and have to stare at a to-do list all day. But your gorgeous planner sits there after you've literally, all your work is literally done beforehand, where you are writing out your days as though you've already lived them. And believe me, you don't have to put so much, when you're writing in detail, you are imagining. I mean, if you can imagine, I mean, obviously, the details is in the imagine space, not the to-do, not go to the store. When it starts to get like imagined, when I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to wear those boots that I just got. Yes, I am. Okay. And then, you know, you're going to be going to lunch first with the kids, and you're going to go here, then you're going to go here, and you're going to be home at this time, and you want the boys to help you unload, and you know, they can help, maybe they could help set the table. So you're just like practically, you're imagining that day as though it's really already happened. That's what happens when you use so much detail. So your why is already interwoven. So to clear it up, you don't have to say, oh, for this to do, why am I doing it? When you start to write it out, you'll kind of like, if you don't really want to do it, you'll kind of get choked up and be like halted. Like it can happen to me. I'm like, wait, I don't think I want to do this. Okay? Because now the to-do is becoming an intention, and I don't want to put down an intention and it's like you literally can't do it. Like you literally can't even write it down. Whereas a to-do list, sure, that's not you, you know, it's just stuff you got to do. But when you take to-do lists and actually integrate them into your life with detail, you halt yourself if you have really no intention of doing it. So now you've just cleared up a lot of energy, time, everything. You've got more time now, okay? Because probably maybe a lot of this kind of stuff needs to be reevaluated anyways, you know, and you know, your intentions were great, but they're not really intentions until you've written out the details of how you plan to actually execute that and what it's going to look like. And I mean, if I'm going to even gift someone something, it's like, I'm going to get this and I want it to look this way, and what's the best time I could get them, or I want to meet this person for lunch, and maybe I should give them a gift, or you know what I'm saying? You're going through that whole process. Your mind has got it for you. It's like your subconscious mind. It'll alert you. It'll prompt you. It'll move you. It'll tell you to go here. It'll remember we're doing this, or remember doing that, or you've got your flow, you know, you got flow. And that is basically what the Planner Perfect Method is all about. If you haven't experienced yet, then get ready, buckle up, because this is going to be the ride of your life. You're going to always be wanting to write a better story. You need the space, no more boxes. You can't write your life in this. Where are the details? So, you know, you've got to have room to write down what you want to do with your life with all of its details, you know, with all of its details. So let me turn you around. I'm going to show you a couple examples of what that would look like. I've showed my planner many a time, but I think it's time now to get some real life examples of to-dos to hear. I know I've got a lot of new women in the fans group that are really wanting to see this. So I will also be hopefully posting it here, and you guys can see it in the fans, and get over here so you can see this. And anyone who's new to me, welcome, welcome, because this will revolutionize the way you plan your life. No longer will you be thinking, you know, I think I need a new planner because I'm not succeeding at anything I want to do, or I think I need a new planner. We're always grabbing for the next pretty thing. But when it gets down to the brass tacks, it's just not going to do the job, because number one, I feel like boredom hits with a lot of, you know, women with planning. It's like you get bored. Like, you know why? Because you just have your identity in the wrong part of the planning system. It's like you want this to be like this to-do list will miraculously work really well in this planner, because it's pretty, but actually it's not. It's the method of your planning that's suffering, that's not igniting you, lighting you up, and you're not really being a visionary enough for your life to get this done. So if you're one that kind of struggles, if you feel like you're not pushing the needle, if you feel like you're not living your full potential, if you feel like, maybe you're a mom and you're just overwhelmed and all you know is mom mode, that's it. If you're in this mode where, or you're an empty nester and you feel like, hey, I don't even know, and I'm going to do a separate video on that because it deserves it. I've got like so much info on that. Because I'm a mom of 8 and I'm not an empty nester, far from it, okay? But it's like, I have my mom to look out for this on how she lives. And it's like your life should truly be an extension of what you're already doing as a mother. And that is getting your identity out of being a mother and keep your identity in who you are. And when you do that, then and the kids leave the nest, all that is looking like is just more of an extension of yourself getting broader and broader and bigger because you got more time to pursue it. That's it. But like I said before in one of my reels, it isn't too late. If you feel like, oh, I didn't even know how to do that or when to do that, now's the time. And you're just going to basically be thinking, hey, how do I want to live? What do I want to do? And you just begin, okay? And your planner will not be empty anymore because the very act of thinking and sitting in the quiet will get you kind of in that creative mode, and you just get some God downloads. Pretty soon your pen will be flying. And sometimes it takes a little bit of practice, takes a little bit of time to get adjusted and get it and understand, but you'll get it. So let me flip you around. I'm going to show you a couple examples of how to take your to-do list and script it for success. Okay. I've got a couple of things to work through. I'm not going to use my planner because for obvious reasons. I've got just a journal actually I found, and I'm going to use this so I can use it as an example. I've got my spiral. I can't live without my spirals. By the way, be looking for a new drop of spirals in definitely in February. Those will be dropping probably mid-February, so be looking out for those. So let me just get started. I have an ongoing love for, I'm telling you, I love spirals. They are great to really just brain dump. I also do, like, I'll clean up my fridge and brain dump everything here, and then I'll transfer it in an organized and intentional way. So this is so super for brain dumping. And if you're new to Planner Perfect, I especially would encourage you to use one. Since you already are acclimated and used to it, this will still give you the comforts of familiarity, yet then I'm going to push you more into, now let's go ahead and dissect that to-do list a little bit and make it a full-fledged intention that your subconscious mind can actually pick up on, okay? And that's what you want to do. Okay, here we go. We're going to be writing down some sample to-dos. Let's write out, grab a gift for mom. Get food for dog, okay? My Molly bear. These are just random brain dumps I might have, okay? Then all of a sudden I'll walk into one of my closets or bedrooms and I'll be like, oh my God. Okay. And I'll be like, organize. I'll say pantry, because that's usually the main room I walk in. We're going to be talking about organizing pretty soon here because it's going to be fun. Organize pantry. Grab Brock some new pants. Like, let's say sometimes I'll be like, Mom, these don't fit. I'm finding out now that he needs pants and new shoes. Okay, so I'm writing that down. Let's see. Now this is, okay, I'm just going to start with this because honestly, this could go on for a very long time. So again, in mine, I'm going to start it from scratch and show you, but honestly, okay, so like I right here, it was up at 7 a.m. Plan, me do my collagen smoothie. I'm showered, dressed, laundry. So when I'm already upstairs, laundry, fold it, all before we go. Okay, so then I have my cleaning ladies here. Okay, I have eggs and toast for Blaine. Patty here. Okay, that's my cleaning lady. So then I go into, I mean, just extreme detail of how I'm going to map out my life from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. So let's use an example of then showing some details of what that's going to look like. Okay, so here, let's say it's a Monday. I want to try to just replicate, you know, what something like mine would look like. And let me write January through it. I don't have any fun markers, washi, nothing like that, but I wanted to just kind of get that down. So let's just say that I want to pull, you know, now I'm going to go off of my day because I can't go off of yours, right? So my day is going to look a lot different than yours. So you got to know what your day looks like from the time it wakes up to the time you go to bed. If you've got kids, if you don't have kids that are home, all of this kind of stuff plays a part. So when I've got these things that I would love to do, but I got to know what my morning's going to look like and how I want to live. So I know for me, I'm being very sure that one of the things I scrutinize is how I feel in a day, or if I'm rested, or if I'm taking on too much stress, or if I'm being authentic to me. Am I doing something but inside I really don't want to? Okay, so all of these things come into play for me because I am awake to this. I am not going through life on automatic pilot anymore. Now I used to, but not anymore, and I don't you either. Okay, so you must be aware of what's going on within you and how your body's reacting and how you feel, because that's your gauge, okay? So I'm going to make sure that I get up. So I'm going to say get up at 6 a.m. Okay, so what I'll do too is, what I'll notice is like my cat Boots, I don't know what it is with my animals, but I usually have very low tolerance for them sometimes. And I think it's just the nature of my life, actually. And man, I love them, but if they get needy on me when I just woke up, that's just something I just don't like tolerating. And I don't know if it's because I feel like I've done some introspection on, and I feel I just have so many kids and grandbabies that I'm always with and doing that I feel like they take a lot from me. And so I just don't want, that's why I love getting up early, because I want me time. And so when Boots comes galloping in my room like she's starving to death, you know, collapsing, then I just get a little bit annoyed. Okay, so now I know this about myself. So I don't want to treat her like with disrespect, and I don't want to disrespect myself. So if I were to go feed the cat and give it to her and I'm feeding her, yet I don't want to, now see, that is a contradiction, and you're not aligned. Your spirit, your soul, and your body are not aligned in that moment. And I always want to work towards being aligned, okay? Where everything is congruent and syncing up. Okay, because that's really how disease begins, is when we constantly live in a state of doing something and feeling another, you know, and we just do it all day long, okay? So either fix your attitude and do it, or just don't do it, but just make sure that you're aligned. So one of the things that I've been doing is like, okay, what I'm going to do to make sure, because it's hard to like get yourself out of that mode and try to be loving when you're just not feeling that. So I'm like, what can help me out and what would make me feel better? And I'm thinking, okay, I'll feed her at night and then put some foil on top. And then in the morning, all I got to do is take off that foil. So guess what? That was perfect for me. So I woke up, I'm like, hey, Boots, come on, let's go. And I went, flip, and, you know, she does wet food, okay? So instead of like in the morning and I'm taking off the can and my hands smell like cat food and I'm shaking it out, and, you know, I just literally woke up because she's like, meow, 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 meow. Okay, she's doing that. So I did it at night, and this time I felt like I was completely synced up. My morning flow was already beginning, okay? So that's how you're going to stay true to you, and you want to make sure that you are doing things that your mind is agreeing to. And speaking of boots. You know, she comes waltzing in right now, probably wondering where dinner is. So anyway, that is one of the ways, and that's a really great analogy of how you can apply to almost anyone and anything. Okay, so figure out why you're getting stressed by something or someone and try to either help yourself feel better in that situation so the next time it happens, or set yourself up in a better way that you're not going to, that you aren't going to be, you know, frustrated or angry or whatever. So anyway, that's been working. So get up. So I'm going to be like, feed boots, and it's going to be easy. How fun. So grab coffee and do my quiet time. So I'm going to be doing my quiet time and my Elijah study. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I did that, and I talked about that in my devotional YouTube video. So here I'm still kind of going through what my routines are. Now, these are pretty solid. Someone will be like, why do you write this out every time? You really don't have to if you've got it kind of programmed and it's what you do. But I still love to write it down because to me, it's part of my story and it's what I do. And looking back on it, it just fits so beautifully within the whole part of my day. To me, these are stories of your life. You know what I mean? This isn't just some, like a to-do list, you might look at that, like you could literally just throw this away. But when it's interwoven within your story, it's your life. And you just don't feel like it's your documented life. You don't feel like throwing it away. And I like to write down everything that I'm up to and what my pursuits are, my interests and my intentions. So after I do that, then my husband comes down. So this is usually, my husband sleeps a little bit later than I. So we usually then chat for an hour. So it's like hubby time. And I don't really have any calls, or let's say I don't have any business I'm doing stressing here. So then I feel like, okay, I can go ahead and, but what I've been doing before my shower actually is this is when I take out the dishes, and that way I'm prepped for breakfast. So that way when the boys are now, because we're really eating non-processed and all of that, so it takes a little bit more time, but I always make sure that I'm really ready for them, so I prep it. So whatever I got to do, I've got the almond milk out, maybe the paleo pancakes, whatever it is, I'll just make sure that what I have assigned up for them for that day, or what I've talked to them about, what they want, I'll have out and it's prepped and ready, and that way I can shower. Now, I've done it where I haven't done this, and that's where I had introspection, because like, how can I make my mornings easier? Because they'll be like, Mom, I'm, with their, blowhorn, I'm hungry, and I'm in the middle of doing my makeup. I don't want that. So it took, you just figure out it's what working for your family, and your life's always going to be changing, yeah, watch out. It's always going to be changing. So adapt, learn what works, change it up. It's just how it is. So shower, I'll even put here like no wash hair day. Okay. And if I plan on going out, then it wouldn't be a sweats day. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, it's sweats and bread. But for here, I'm going to be, I will run an errand here or two. Okay. So here I am writing out my intentions. Now, these are not necessarily to-dos, but they are very much so, this is where my life is, and as you can see, this is where a to-do list is. So if someone has that separate, it's not even involved. So that's why I'm incorporating it in this manner. So then after I take a shower, then what I'll do is I'll, quick feed boys and have them put away their dishes in the dishwasher. And then I'll be dressed. And this is when I do my AM chores. So I will make my bed. Now, if I was going to eat, I would write that down, but I don't eat till later. So because I do write that down. So I'm still on the upstairs, make my bed. start my first load for the day. And grab clothes from each room. And now I'm going to go downstairs, and this is what I'm going to do my breakfast. Okay, so here, usually I'll do either a smoothie or a juice. This time I'm going to do a smoothie, and I add my pre and probiotic powder, my protein, and then I will get my water ready and take my vitamins for the morning. Then I will clean up here. And so here's where I'm like thinking and stuff. If I've got to run out, I want to organize my pantry. So let's say I really wanted to tackle that one. Okay, so it says organize my pantry. Now that's a big one, but what I probably would do then is just walk into the old pantry and kind of figure out how I plan on organizing it. So here I'm taking a to-do of organizing the pantry. Now I can do this, kind of make a header. But honestly, like I said, you will remember everything you're doing. Take out what I don't need. Get rid of, well, not outdated, but dated food. Inventory on what needs to be replenished, and of containers I might need. Now this is very detailed. Now I already have other things that I wanted to do, but here I'm going to prep myself before I even run out and run some errands, so I'll know exactly what I'm doing. So before I go though, I'm always going to be like, okay, well I should probably feed the boys before I go, or I would be feeding them out. And if I don't want to do that, then here I'm going to say, you know, like, because we've been having this lately, my leftover chili. Now they love it. So what I like, these are details, what I like to do, like the leftover chili, and a lot of times like with kids and leftovers, like leftovers. Okay, but if you, like, I'll take my chili, and so I'll even write this down, put on stovetop. So I'll just grab the leftover container full of chili and I'll put it back in the stovetop and get it cooking, and it smells so good, and it's like it's fresh and brand new rather than like slapping it in a bowl and put it in the microwave. This just hits them different, okay? And they're like, oh yeah, bring it on. And then I have like individual, like the Siete chips, and they're just these really clean brand chips that are like, they're not corn, they're grain free, but they're amazing. And so then they have their own individual chip, and then sitting on the table, and then I will give them their chili. So put on the stovetop and get simmering while I'm doing pantry inventory, okay? So everyone eat. Now my smoothie will take me a while, so I probably won't be eating, and I'm eating later for that, so that'll kind of be what I'm doing for right there. I won't need to eat. So here I know this. So now I know that my chores are done. I know I've done my devotions. I know that I've did a little bit of inventory of something I really wanted to do, which was organize my pantry. So I kind of got that set up and ready for me. But I do know that, you know, like Molly needs some food. I want to get a gift from my mom, but I'm going to do that on a different day. And so here I can grab some food and organize, and like getting Brock new clothes, I'll look at it and be like, okay, that's too much for me to do this day. I don't want to fill it up too much because my dinner is going to be, you know, let's say my spaghetti. Okay, so I'm going to do spaghetti and meatballs with my homemade bread. Okay, let's say I'm doing this. Well, then I know that I've got to get home in time to be prepared and to do this, right? So I don't want to just be nuts, because then if I wrote out, okay, go to Dick's and get my son his, let's get him some, these sport pants here, and he wants Nikes. What size is he? I'd write that down. Then I would literally feel in my bones and body the stress of doing all of that. And then everyone's saying, what's there to eat? And I'll be like, forget it. Order pizza. I'm too tired. I did all this, and there's no way I'm going to want to make spaghetti meatballs with love. Okay. But I love making spaghetti meatballs with love and homemade bread, and I want to be in love doing it. So I pace myself. I'm like, you know what? I'll do that a different day. That way everything flows and gets done, and it's perfect, and I love it, and it's how I want my day to flow. So I would be like, okay, everyone eat, and we go, and let's take Molly, okay, because we're going to go to the pet store anyway and get her food, so let's just get her leash. Grab her leash, don't forget, because she stays in the car when we run simple errands, and then she can go with us inside PetSmart and get her food. So here then we'll go to Target, and I've already written down my inventory of what I wanted to get. So either I've transferred and put that list, depending on the size of it, I've put that in my, and you'll see that in my, how I plan my setup for 2023, but I have it in a little small personal size. That's what my wallet's in, and it has my errand list in there, and I can write down everything that I intend to get there in that list. Or, I could just do clear containers, grab 4 of them, and grab 2 cereal containers. So here I'm writing down exactly what I'm going to get at Target to help me with that pantry, and then get some new cereal, and maybe I knew I was out of ketchup, so I'm like thinking in my brain, it's like, you know what, let's get that real quick. Okay, so then we're going to head off to PetSmart. Now I'm thinking if we're doing lunch here around noon, I could easily be home by 2, and this is all cool. Grab her food and bring Molly in. Okay, so then home in time to get bread dough going and get my sauce simmering. Eat at 6. Boys help set table. And everyone help mom clean up. And here I will light some candles, and if I'm motivated, which I usually am, I will replenish the cereal and do some of my pantry organizing. Now this all depends on how much of a project that was and how big it was, but if I'm just going to swap out a couple things and make it look cuter and better, then this is going to be an easy deal. Probably take me 30 minutes. So then I always love to write out my evenings. So then it's like jammies, skincare routine. By the way, I'm going to share you a new product that I'm digging. I'll do that in another video. Also, I have a feet routine now. So I will do that. And then I like to brush my teeth early. Right here. And then I go downstairs and read by the fire. And I will strategically plan out an evening. So if I have it's Monopoly night, then I would write that down. But if I know that we've been busy, we've done our thing, we've done all that, maybe I don't want to, maybe I just don't feel like it, then I just will already get myself geared up to know that tonight's going to be an easygoing night. It was a full day. I'm going to go and I'm just going to read tonight by the fire, and the boys can play games and watch a movie. Okay. So here, and then to bed by 10 p.m.
p.m. Okay, so now this is a sample day. This is how I take a simple get food for Molly. This is where I organized my pantry. And now that's pretty broad, and how I broke it down into what that would actually look like. Now this, I already feel like this is completed. This is done. This is like a completion. This already happened. It's a memory, for crying out loud. So, I mean, I'm literally automatically up at 6. I'm already knowing that Boots' food is ready because the night before I get it with foil on it and it's no easy. So already I'm starting off the day really great and in flow because I know my triggers. I know what keeps me stress-free. I know what keeps me synced up. And so I know here, I know the shower. I know I'm not washing my hair. I know that... I've got some laundry to do, and maybe one day it's more backed up. So it's like, okay, it's going to take me a cool 2 hours. I would be allotting for that and how that would look in my day. So I'm always choreographing, feeling things out, doing things. But this is basically what it looks like to break down a day, a to-do. There was a couple to-dos in there, and how that looks broken out. And as you can see, your why is interwoven. So it's like, okay, and it even got a little bit extra. Okay, so instead of you running out harried with like, you've forgotten your day and she has no food, so you're leaving, you're sending out your husband, you're going out in your pajama bottoms to go grab some food because you're living off of a to-do list. You've incorporated not only to go get her to go get her food, but you have it that she's coming along. She's so beautiful. Everyone's going to love her when she arrives. She's got her bandana on. And she's going to go in with us to go get the food. Meanwhile, I'm also grabbing a couple things at Target that I really want, that I've cleared out, that I know what I want to do. These are all my whys. It's enriching. It's fulfilling. It's these to-dos don't carry that kind of fulfillment until they're integrated. That's why they don't get done and you don't really succeed. They become chores until they're integrated. These become a pain in the butt unless they're integrated. You feel like a loser. This makes you feel like you've flowed and had the best day of your life, and it's just with simplicity. It's with thought. It's not even fast paced. It's flowing. It's creative. It's well thought out. You've had time for you. You thought about, even you were proactive in how you wanted to feel, and so you made sure you felt your best right out of the gate by how you and the cat interact. I mean, I'm thinking about my shower and them not wanting to yell at me that they're starving at a certain time, so I make sure I'm ahead of the game and I'm ready for them before I actually take a shower. And I know I would be going down just in a robe, but at least I'm cleaned up and I can quickly make what I've prepped. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. It's fulfilling. I know what I'm doing for dinner, and it's all with love. There's no harried and throwing it out. It's not even just a regular dinner. I mean, it's like these dinners they're full of love. They are homemade bread coming out of the oven. It's paying attention to how I want to live and how I want my kids, how my kids will feel. And everything just runs smooth. If I got a neighbor that says, hey, can you come over and, take my dog, for a minute or something like that. It's like, well, no, because actually I'm not going to be home this afternoon, or I'm going to be gone from here to here, or, you know where you're going. You know when to say no, you know when to say yes. So let's say my sister calls, hey, you want to do lunch? Well, I can't today, but I do. And see, and that's why as the more you plan too, you kind of leave pockets, because sometimes you've got, you can kind of plan, get all your absolutes down, as I call them, like, your morning routine, your evening routine, but leave some pockets. And then as days go on and you plan and get in there and nestle in on your couch the night before, maybe your sister who said she wanted to go out to lunch this week, you're like, hey, look, I've got some time here. Let's go run out this day, So that's how I hope that you were able to extract some of what I am trying to articulate in what absolute game changer this is. That when you take a to-do list, just this brain dump of sorts, and when you make it and give it the integrity, I should say, it deserves, then your brain's lit up, you're on board, your mind, body, spirit's on board, you're ready to go, you're already flowing before the day even began, and you already know what you're doing without even looking. Girls, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and if you're new, welcome. And I really hope, girls, that you enjoyed this video. Give me some comments down below if is there anything else that, maybe you got questions on, or that you want more information on, or maybe another video idea you have for me. Thanks for watching, you guys. And until next time.